Obesity is a major problem in America. See what Armstrong School District is doing to prevent this problem. Welcome to Education Today.
Hello and welcome to Education Today. I'm John Zish with the Armstrong School District. This week we're looking at a collaborative project to improve wellness and reduce the health problems associated with being overweight as a child. Armstrong School District has teamed up with Armstrong County Memorial Hospital and Children's Community Pediatrics in the groundbreaking effort. To talk more about this, we have Dr. Hal Altman from Armstrong County Memorial Hospital. We also have Dr. Karen Bott of Children's Community Pediatrics. And from Armstrong School District, we have Lou Ann Fee, Food and Nutrition Services Coordinator, as well as Kirk Lorigan, who organizes the wellness effort at the school district level. On behalf of the school district and school board, welcome to Education Today. Thanks for your time and thanks for being here. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself, starting with Dr. Bott and your relationship to this wellness project?
My name is Karen Bott. I'm one of the pediatricians at Children's Community Pediatrics. Of course, I have an interest in children health in this county.
And I'm Dr. Hal Altman. I wear a bunch of different hats. I'm a pediatrician with Dr. Bott's group. I'm also an administrator at the hospital. I'm the Vice President of Medical Affairs there, and I'm a medical consultant for the school district.
Excellent. Mrs. Fee?
Lou Ann Fee, Director of Food and Nutrition Services, and responsible for the breakfast and lunch programs. And as the kids refer to me, I'm the lunch lady.
Mr. Lorigan?
I'm Kirk Lorigan. I'm the assistant principal at Elderton High School, and I also wear a few hats in the district. Other than that, I also am in charge of the wellness effort here at the school district level. So I do a lot of organization and time with Dr. Altman in preparing the meetings and getting the notes out and so on and so forth for the Armstrong School District.
Terrific. Well, thank you all for being here. We're lucky to have you on board. And maybe we should start at the very beginning, Dr. Altman. And if you wouldn't mind, please tell me a little bit about how this collaborative project started and what are its goals?
Sure. The project is about a year old now. Probably the viewers don't realize this, or they certainly soon will if they've started to receive letters from the school district concerning something called a BMI. About a year ago, the state directed school districts to start to track BMIs on children and to inform parents as to what the BMI is. The BMI is body mass index, and it's a gross approximation of weight and healthy weight and unhealthy weight. The nurses in the school district asked me to provide an in-service concerning BMIs and the whole issue of overweight children. As I prepared for that in-service, a light bulb sort of went on and realized that we have a unique opportunity in the county because we have a dominant school district. We have a dominant pediatric group providing care for about 2/3 of the kids in the district. And obviously a single predominant hospital. So we thought that with those folks having mutual interests, that if we could put together a collaboration, we might be able to identify kids that have potential weight problems, but not only that, to also identify families, because we understand that being overweight is usually a family problem. It's not generally an individual problem.
Well, that's a great overview. I appreciate that. And you mentioned something that maybe Mr. Lorigan can touch on. You said the state is requiring school districts to track BMI. Mr. Lorigan, would you tell me a little bit more about the state mandates here at Armstrong School District?
Sure. Currently, the Armstrong School District recognizes that there is a problem with a lot of the things with overweight children, and the state also recognizes this. And the state at this point is mandating that every school district across the state passes a wellness policy, a health and wellness policy, by June of 2006. Part of that policy involves that schools, individual schools, and at the district level have to have wellness committees that meet to discuss ways to improve the health and wellness for the students in their particular district. Part of that is also the letters that Dr. Altman had spoke about. And currently in the Armstrong School District, we have been meeting for about a year, and we already have our draft of our policy done, and that does have to be done by June of '06, so it will be finalized in the near future.
Oh, that's excellent. Now, part of any discussion of wellness and health is healthy eating. Mrs. Fee, I was wondering if you'd please give an overview of how, on the lunch end of things, we've made strides in that area.
Well, over the past 4 years, the Armstrong School District has made considerable efforts to increase the quality of the nutrition of the breakfast and lunch programs. Every school lunch meets 1/3 of the recommended dietary allowance. Each lunch has a major source of vitamin A and C. And all of our lunches now have only 30% of the calories from fat, 10% from saturated fat. The emphasis, as you know, if you've watched TV or read the newspapers, has been to decrease the fat in the school lunch program. And we've been able to do that a number of ways. We no longer add vegetable oil or any kind of butter or margarine to cooked vegetables. We're using turkey products when we can, turkey hot dogs, lunch meat. We are using now lower fat beef products. We eliminated French fries as a lunch choice, as a vegetable choice with the lunches daily. We've replaced a lot of the higher desserts with low-fat desserts, not eliminated, but only give cakes and cookies as a treat now on occasion. And we're serving things like gelatin and sherbets and low-fat puddings. The other changes that we've made are trying to increase the grains, the healthy grains. We're offering more of the whole wheat rolls and breads. And we're actually trying a pizza crust now to see how the kids might like that, that's made out of whole grain. Not real sure how they'll accept that, but we're going to give it a try.
Sure. Sounds good.
We have dramatically increased the consumption of fresh fruits and vegetables in the school lunch program. The children are offered a salad and choice of a vegetable every day. At the secondary level, they can have chef salads or chicken salad every day. And we offer at least 2 fresh fruit choices every day. The thing that we're most proud of, though, is how we've modified our snack programs. The school district has pulled all of the carbonated vending machines from the elementaries and the middle schools, and we only operate the ones in the high school during the after school hours. We've eliminated all sales of candy during the school day. The actual lunch program no longer sells any snack item over 12 grams of fat. We're looking to decrease that further in future years. And we've eliminated any item in the elementary school over 10 grams, and we also only offer a limited amount of choices in the elementary. So I think we're making a lot of nice improvements at this point.
I would say those are terrific improvements. And certainly you can't go wrong in that direction. I think it will only get better, and we'll start to see the results. We're certainly doing our share here in the Armstrong School District. Appreciate that overview. We're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with more education today with the Armstrong School District. When we come back, we'll hear a little bit about the caloric equation and what that means for your child's health. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Bill Kerr, Superintendent of Schools for the Armstrong School District. The theme for American Education Week, A Strong America Begins with Great Public Schools, continues throughout this school year. I see public education as a great investment, an investment in quality educational programs and services that continues to yield countless benefits to strengthen our schools and communities. We're proud that our students did a commendable job on the 2005 state math and reading assessments. Their work, along with those of their teachers, enabled all schools in the Armstrong School District to make adequate yearly progress under the federal No Child Left Behind Act. Congratulations to all involved.
And we're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Today we're talking about wellness and how to help kids get healthier. What I'd like to ask the group about is this thing that we hear about sometimes called the caloric equation. Dr. Altman, would you please shed some light on that?
Sure. I think we'd have to be living in a vacuum if we didn't appreciate the fact that we're bombarded on a daily basis with issues concerning weight, and specifically calories. And there are a lot of very confusing information and data out there, and so we're trying to sort of demystify things and make it easier for kids and families to understand how to control their weight if they're in a category that puts them at risk or they're actually overweight. So to do that, we need a little bit of basic science, and so bear with me. Our ability to maintain our weight, or if we put too much weight on or don't have enough weight, is based upon our daily caloric needs, the energy that we need to burn to maintain ourselves. And the fancy name, scientific name for this is basal metabolic rate. The basal metabolic rate for every person differs based upon their age and their sex. And so there's not one easy equation to give you in terms of basal metabolic rate, but there are websites that the listeners can certainly check out and plug in age and weight and sex and be able to get a feel for the basal metabolic rate. That's the number of calories that we need every day just to maintain ourselves. Now, the caloric equation is this. For every extra 3,500 calories that we put in our body above and beyond that basal metabolic rate, we'll gain a pound of weight. Or the flip side is for every 3,500 calories less than what we need for our basal metabolic rate, we'll lose a pound. And if you think about 100 calories, that isn't much. And if we were to take in 100 calories a day more than we need over the course of a year and 365 days, we would gain over 10 pounds. So we need to pay attention to the little things and not the big things. So the caloric equation is just the number of calories it leads to either excessive weight or the calories that you need to eliminate to lose weight.
Now you mentioned 100 calories. In talking about wellness and losing weight, is 100 calories a significant figure or something that we're sort of grasping onto as an important concept?
I think it's just an easy way to remember. If we can get rid of 100 calories a day, 365 days a year, we're going to lose 10 pounds in the course of that year. And 100 calories, we'll talk a little bit later, I think, about the easy ways to be able to burn 100 calories.
Excellent. Well, in any discussion of wellness, it's important to define BMI, or body mass index. And Dr. Bott, I'd like to turn to you and ask if you could please tell me how the wellness group is using body mass index and how it relates to the wellness initiative.
Sure, John. I think before we talk about that, I think we should talk about why the state has done what it's done to mandate BMIs being sent to parents. In 2003, the American Academy of Pediatrics came out with a policy statement and showing that childhood obesity has grown significantly. In the 2003 data, there is approximately 20 to 25% of children are overweight or at risk of being overweight. Because of this large number, the AAP, the American Academy of Pediatrics, has made it a policy for pediatricians to get involved. Some of the complications of having a high BMI include hypertension, high blood pressure, hyperlipidemia or high cholesterol levels, type 2 diabetes, and poor self-esteem. And these were problems that we used to see only in the adult population. Now we're starting to see it in the pediatric population. Back to the BMI. BMI, as Dr. Altman stated, is called body mass index, and it's a calculation of adiposity or fat, actually, because each child is different. Some children are heavier based on muscle mass. Some children are heavier based on fat, and so the BMI helps us determine one or the other. And BMI is based on weight compared to their height. And in our office, we're measuring BMI quite frequently, and what we're using is the wheel. This is a wheel that we use to calculate BMI. But there are other ways, as I think we're going to get into later. And then we graph it on a chart, which I think we'll be showing as well. If your BMI is between the 85th and 95th percentile as a child, based on age and sex, you're at risk of being overweight. And then if your BMI is above 95th percentile, you are overweight, which puts you at risk for all those complications that I spoke about earlier.
Now, Dr. Altman, I understand that Armstrong School District has completed the BMI study, or at least its first round of it, and we have our first glimpse at the data of where the students are. Would you please speak to that and what we see and what it means for what we need to do next?
Just to emphasize what Dr. Bott has said, we're facing an epidemic of overweightness in our society, not only children, but also in adults. And the BMI is simply a way of being able to identify children and adults who may be overweight. And as Dr. Bott mentioned, particularly in childhood, an absolute number of a BMI, like 30, does not always correlate well with whether a child's overweight. If the child is particularly large for age, a lot of muscle mass, a lot of bone mass, they may show up as having a BMI that puts them at risk when really they're not. So just so we don't send any wrong messages here. When you're an adult, unfortunately, the BMI does correlate pretty closely with total body fat. Is that the percentage of fat that we carry in our bodies? And if you're 30 or over, you're considered to be overweight. With children, much different. And so the curves that we use are statistical curves that simply say if your BMI is between the 85th and 95th percentile, it means that you're heavier than 85 to 95 typical kids out of 100. And if you're above the 95th percentile, then you are judged to be overweight. And again, that's in regard to your peers. Getting back to your original question, the studies that we've done recently, because of this mandate, all of our school nurses from K through 12 have measured the kids, weighed the kids, and have calculated the BMI. In Armstrong County School District, across the board, we have 19% of our kids who are at risk of being overweight, and we have 20% of our kids who are actually overweight. So you put those two groups together, 39% of our kids have BMIs that either put them at risk of being overweight or actually indicate that they are overweight.
What does that mean for the future, I guess, would be the next question.
It's a scary future. If the rates continue to increase, Dr. Bott and I looked earlier at some statistics from 1972, and the number of children who are either at risk or who are actually overweight from 1972 to 2000 has tripled.
Oh my.
So if we continue to see that and we don't try to educate and help people figure this out, we're really going to have problems.
So the BMI is a good tool to at least identify and track the prevalence of overweight. And plugging it into that chart is what we'll look at now. I'd like to let our parents know that they can also calculate their child's body mass index using height and weight. Get your pencils out because here's the formula. Weight in pounds divided by height in inches divided again by height in inches times 703 equals body mass index. When you get the number, you can plot it on a special chart to figure out whether your child falls into the percentile that is at a normal growth pattern, overweight, at risk of becoming overweight, or underweight. The chart is called a body mass index for age chart, and they are different for boys and girls. We have placed these charts on the Armstrong School District website, and we encourage you to try them out.
John, in addition to that, as part of the school mandate, the school nurses have begun to send the letters out to the parents, and it's the intent to enclose one of those curves along with the letter that they get so that they'll have something that they can look at and know where their children stand.
Reference a little, sure.
John, just one other thing. We're centering on BMIs. We're talking here about BMIs 85th and higher, but I think that the parents who are listening to us need to understand that what we're doing here as a wellness program is not just for children who are 85th percentile or higher. It's for everyone to learn how to eat well and be healthy and live healthy. So this is not just for a certain population of our students, but actually everyone. It doesn't really matter what your BMI is. What we're trying to teach is for everyone.
That's an excellent point, Dr. Bott. I appreciate that.
Very important point. I think sometimes some of the sensitivity regarding these issues has to do with the connotation that some of these words have. Obesity and fat and being overweight really relate to cosmetic issues. That's not our point in this. Our point is we need to get healthier as a culture, and the BMI is simply a gross indicator that we're going in the wrong direction.
The one thing I understand that we've started to develop is something called the Elderton Project, and I'd like to ask the group if one of you could please tell me about the Elderton Project and how it ties into the overall goal.
The Elderton Project is going to begin at the Elderton Elementary School, and one of the reasons why we've chosen Elderton Elementary is Dr. Bott works out at Elderton Community Pediatrics and is very well known out there. And with me also being out there as the organizer, so to speak,
Sure.
we felt that Elderton Elementary would be a great place to get it started. So we've met with, at this point, Dee Simmons, and Dr. Bott, I'm sure, could speak a little more to her qualifications than what I can. Also, Mrs. Paula Kioski, who's the principal at Elderton Elementary, the school nurse, and also the health and phys ed teacher. What they've done is they've also put together a wellness committee at their school. And they're planning on coming up with things such as walking programs, Walk Across America programs, and many other things for not only these students, the 39% of the students that are at risk or overweight, but for all the students to become healthy. As Dr. Altman mentioned, this is something that the Armstrong School District feels very strongly about, and with the support of the community pediatrics in the hospital, we really feel like this is something that we can see take off and do what's best for our students.
Terrific. Well, to those watching out there, I was wondering if the group would suggest some practical advice on how they can model wellness in their homes. Would anyone like to offer anything for the viewers?
One of the things that we really haven't talked about are just exactly the factors that lead someone to be overweight. And there are three general areas that I think we need to be aware of. One is good nutritional eating. That gets back to the caloric equation that we talked to earlier. The second is physical activity. If you look at the way our kids of today are engaged in physical activity compared to a generation or two ago, there are many fewer opportunities for good physical activity. And it's physical activity that ends up burning calories and helping with that caloric equation. The final thing is the amount of sedentary activity that our kids are involved in. If you look at the number of hours per day that our kids spend in front of a screen, whether it's a television screen or a computer screen, it is a significant difference than what a generation or two experienced. And there's probably no higher correlate right now in terms of the chance of a child being overweight than the amount of time that they spend in front of the television set. There are statistics that suggest that for every extra hour per day a child's in front of a television set or a computer screen, that their chance of being overweight is increased by 2%. So the general recommendations are that no child spend more than 2 hours a day in front of the television set. That's about as practical as it gets.
That includes everything that has a monitor. So
All
television,
screen time.
PlayStation, computers. The total is 2 hours.
2 hours a day for computer and TV.
Well, computer time's a little different, I think, because obviously if they're involved in school and they have
Oh, that's
school
true.
work. But I think Dr. Bott's point of Game Boy and video games and televisions is appropriate.
Excellent. Well, another part of that would be healthy snacks, and Mrs. Fee, I was wondering if you could please explain to the parents some healthy snack options they might have for after school.
Sure, we have a couple ideas for healthy snacks. Most healthy snacks should include fruits or vegetables. That's the key right there. If you're going to do canned fruits, make sure they're canned in light syrup or better yet in juice. Healthy grains, always incorporate those when you can. There's a variety of whole grain products now available. Pita pockets, English muffins, tortillas. Try to include cereals when you can. Other good grain choices would be rice cakes, popcorn, granola, cereal. Low-fat dairy products when you can, low-fat yogurt, low-fat cheese. And then when you're doing a snack and you want to include beverages, water's the best beverage that you can give. If you think you can't encourage your child to drink water, you could always put it in a cute cup or add a slice of fruit, and sometimes that encourages them to drink the water. If you're going to serve milk, serve low-fat or fat-free milk, or 100% juice is another good drink. You said some products that we might want to avoid or maybe just use in moderation, and of course those are the high-fat desserts, cookies and cakes, the chips, the sodas, and also the high-sugar drinks, and then of course candy.
Right. Well, especially coming out of the holiday season, we could all do well to avoid some of those things that you mentioned.
At least eat them in moderation.
That's true. Well, I'm being told that we are out of our time for today, so I'd like to conclude by telling everyone that our Armstrong School District physical education teachers have come up with a list of easy activities that can burn 100 calories, and we have that posted on our website, which the viewers can check out. That's our show for today. To my guests, Drs. Altman and Bott, as well as Mrs. Fee and Mr. Lorgan, thanks again for making the show. To learn more about wellness, visit the Armstrong School District news portion of our website to see the body mass index for age charts. Our physical education teachers' recommendations on family activities that burn 100 calories are also placed there. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Take care.